Currently, there are several organizations that have, I want to say, like monopolies over data collection, aggregation, and use, and then access. And the infrastructure they've created demonstrates their values. And many of those values have to do with making money, but also surveillance. And so what does that mean then for the people who are implicated by the data in those systems? So the nature of my research is multidisciplinary. So it's legal research, but it's also social science research. So I look at cases, I look at legislation, I look at policy, but I also look at how people actually behave with respect to data collection, technology, how organizations actually behave. We know that people don't behave like algorithms. We know that people don't behave rationally. Therefore, we have to look at how people actually behave to see how to best allow law and policy to function. So it's important then for us to find ways for people to be able to, one, participate more in the governance process with respect to data and technology, but also make huge changes in these organizations, both government, civil society, and corporate, that have a huge amount of power over how we live our lives. You can't start from the perspective of we need to make a technology equitable because technology reflects society. Technology reflects the creators. Technology reflects the systems in which they work or behave. We're starting at how do we make technology more equitable? We're starting already at a deficit. The problem is, how do we look at the system in which the technology is going to work or be active or behave, and try to make that system more equitable? In my opinion, that's what needs to happen. Technology is amplifying certain negative impacts on marginalized and vulnerable communities in several ways. I think we can look at the impacts of elections in the United States and across the globe, and the amplification of misinformation and disinformation campaigns using social media, which is a technology. It's also with respect to artificial intelligence, right? Amplification of racism, sexism, homophobia, also with respect to the use of artificial intelligence, right? But these extensions of ourselves are just making the problem worse, and we still haven't fixed the underlying root cause. So until that happens, technology can continue to amplify these tragic and terrible events and systems that we have in place. I think it's really important with respect to any kind of research being conducted that we consider what, we have things that we're interested in. We also have things that we're interested in that could have a huge impact on society, not just within the academy. I think with any research, and that's for undergraduate students, that's for all the way up through faculty and staff, that we always be considering, like, what are the implications of our research? How can we get this to the public or out to the public? How can we help or assist in making life better? Because that is kind of the land grant mission.